Chapter 653. Edward's loud growl attracted a lot of curious glances from the guests who passed him by on the second floor, wondering why the young master of the whale family suddenly became angry. Edward glared at them in annoyance and shouted, "What are you looking at? Get lost." The frightened guests quickly turned their heads and looked away. Edward, with his gloomy face, gestured for Link to come to him. Link sprinted toward him like a loyal puppy and asked diligently, "Yes, young Master Whale, what do you need?" Edward pointed to Alex, who was standing beside Faria in the yard, and muttered indignantly, "Check that dude's identity. I want to know who the heck he is." Link looked curiously in the direction where Edward was pointing and was shocked when he saw the person, so much so that his eyes opened wide. Wasn't that Alex Anderson? He recognized the guy even if he turned into ashes. Alex was the reason why Ethan, his precious son, had the words "pathetic jerk" carved on his forehead by Stephen. Had it not been for offending Alex, Stephen would never have hurt his son like that. Therefore, Stephen was just the executioner, whereas Alex was the main culprit. His son's word-carving incident had become the city's laughingstock. Whenever he thought of the sorrowful incident, he wanted to skin Alex alive. However, he dared not go up against Stephen, so he could only swallow his pride and contain his anger. He gritted his teeth and replied, "I know him. His name is Alex Anderson." Edward asked coldly, "Who is he? What is his background? He must have a death wish for touching my girl." Link became ecstatic upon seeing Edward so upset with Alex and thought, "Yes, my chance for revenge is here." Thus, he leaned closer to Edward and said, "He is a loser who married into the Richard family as a live-in son-in-law. As for the Richard family, it is just a lousy family who is on the verge of bankruptcy." Edward frowned into a darker expression and asked, "Are you sure he is a live-in son-in-law?" Link replied firmly, "Yes, absolutely." Then, he further explained, "His wife is Emma Richard, a pretty lady with a lot of admirers in the city. Unfortunately, she chose to marry that loser. Rumor has it that after they got married, he became a house husband who does all the house chores for the family like cooking, cleaning, and laundry. I heard that he is from poverty and is a typical deadbeat loser. Everyone in Oris Hill knows about it." A dash of coldness and anger flashed in Edward's eyes. Previously, both his father and himself had suspected that Faria's admirer was most likely from a prestigious family in Westcliff, and if so, he didn't stand a chance in the competition. But never did he expect that Faria would choose to like a deadbeat loser who was also a pathetic live-in son-in-law. A son-in-law. This proved that Alex was married. A deadbeat loser, a moocher, and also a married man. He could still convince himself to give up if Faria's target was a rich man from a prominent family, but she had actually fallen in love with a married man. This was beyond common sense. It was also a harsh slap to his face. After all, he was the young master from the top family in the South region with a net worth of nearly $200 billion. Why did he pale in comparison to this miserable loser in Faria's eyes?